It is not the fastest build or the best clear or the most boss damage, but it is very chill and it is very fun because most of the time your gameplay is this. What you saw with the boss was me playing very poorly, but basically with a boss you do the same thing. You dodge the mechanics. That is your wither. And that is your curse. And you can just do that, and that's your bossing. Very, very cozy when you're doing breaches because things just die. The big downside of this build is going to be whenever there's burning ground set by enemies, it ignites your poison clouds because that ruins the way our poison works. But we can fix that a little bit with, right there, you can use Contagion. Now, what is the defense of the build? 46% block right now, 50% evasion, and we have 15 armor. We have energy shield of 4,639, and we are running Chaos Inoculation, and as you can see, Grim Feast is putting us over double. What is our main skill? That is going to be Decompose. Decompose here is our main skill, and it poisons enemies as though dealing chaos damage equal to, and the amount of corpse life is going to depend on the level of your actual Decompose on your boots. Now, you can only get up to a level 19 Decompose. That's all that exists because GGG did not give us level 20s, which means that we can get to 39% of corpse maximum life without increasing the level of the skill. But what this also means is we can't get an actual 5 socket, which does kind of suck. So what am I running? It's actually really, really simple. I am running Decompose with a Deadly Poison with a Magnified Effect. I'm running Comorbidity for a +1 poison, and I am running Corpse Conservation because what this lets us do is if we have a big enemy in a map, it lets us set off their corpse multiple times. We have more on the tree. It also means sometimes our minions pop, but they're still alive, and that's just less work for the clerics. Contagion, I just have Hinder put in it, which doesn't really matter. Essence Drain, I have Chaos Mastery and Intense Agony. I don't touch this. I do not use this. It's just sitting here. Skeletal Brute, just sitting here. I don't use it. I have Sacrifice. Absolutely nothing is in it, and it makes my minions revive 15% more slowly because I do have quality on it. The quality is, it lowers that. And then we also have Grim Feast, which as you can see here is 768 energy shield per Grim Feast, 50% spawning a remnant when a reviving minion dies or an enemy. So these guys here, when they die, that also has a chance of spawning a Grim Feast. We'll get to the clerics last. Despair, I just have Despair linked with Heightened Curse. And Eye of Winter is kind of interesting. Basically, I have extra damages extra chaos, which allows me to run Withering Touch. I run Unleash so I can get the 3 of them. And I have Persistence for skill effect. What does that mean? That means that we can wither really pretty much instantly, as you saw in the video when the Eyes of Winter actually connect. Again, that was a bad boss fight, but I'm poor right now, and you'll see why in a moment. So my Skeletal Clerics, as you can see here, are level 35, and I have +1 from a Corruption. Now, I do want to make sure something's really clear. The +1 from the Corruption doesn't work, at least in part. I had the +1 Corruption lower my spirit cost earlier by 1. It raised my level enough that I was at the point that my reservation went down, but my actual spirit usage didn't. I tried everything. I don't know if that is the only thing unaffected or if the actual +1 corruption just doesn't work at all. I've heard people say -1 corruption doesn't actually affect anything either. Just putting that out there. But I do have a +1 corrupt because I got lucky. I have Meat Shield. I have Arcane Tempo, which increases the cast speed. I have Ingenuity, which decreases the cooldown. And I have Minion Mastery for a +1 level. And the reason the cast speed and the cooldown is important because there's actually a cooldown for reviving each other, and this actually lowers it, and you can see the cast speed's faster. And when they're casting, they aren't moving, so if they aren't moving, they can be behind you. It speeds up this cast speed too. It just makes it so they don't fall behind as much. If GGG fixes minions falling behind by making them teleport to you or something else, that'll just be it'll be a nice change for us. And we go down, you're going to see an absolute crazy maximum life. And I will be showing you why that's so high. It's not super crazy. Like if you did skeletal brutes, you can get higher, but this is pretty crazy for clerics because I want them to be clerics respawning because we're going to be stacking poisons. And the way I did this is I'll just kind of show you on my gear real quick. So I have +5 from my scepter. The only thing important on this is percent spirit, but I'm going to be honest. I have 11 clerics. That's, in my opinion, more than enough. I could give up some spirit. I could give up a cleric. It's fine. So maximum life is important, though. This here has percent chaos damage on the ring. Otherwise, it's just a ring. My evasion and energy shield is here. Energy shield, this can definitely be boosted. It has spirit and intelligence I need to even do the build. I have +3 minion gems. You'll notice there's no spirit here, so this could be better. I could have even more clerics. Just a ring. This is just a block shield. That's kind of what I'm using it for. It has energy shield as well, a little armor. This is my snake bite. It could obviously be improved, but it has +1 of your poisons at the same time. You might not even want to run this for defensive reasons. You might want to run a different pair of gloves, but this is just 2 more poisons because we're Pathfinder. This here is life, mana, which I don't really need either of them. Some resistances, and that's kind of what this is, just resistance. And my boots are my boots. As you can see, I'm just filling in resistances that I needed with these boots. On my talisman, it's just a rarity. Charm, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so the actual build. We are a Pathfinder, so let's start with that. So Pathfinder, first thing I did is you go up here, you take magnitude of poisons, you go most damaging is spread, you go with magnitude, and you go and get double the number of poisons target being affected with at the same time. The poison duration isn't a big deal, because essentially what we're doing is our clouds will overlap, and because they overlap, as long as the poison runs out, if they're in our cloud, it will immediately reapply from the same cloud. So we don't have to worry about like not having enough to max stack our poison. Go back and watch the boss fight. You'll see that I was staying at the max poison. And this is just passive skill point and 5 passives. I don't even have the 4th one yet. I haven't bothered. To do it, I'd probably go up here and just grab the poisonous concoction just to help in maps where there's like burning ground. Maybe some extra damage on bosses. I don't know how much it would actually do, if anything. I'd have to test it. I've never played poisonous concoction. So with that being said, I come out of here and I just take the evasion. I go into the blur for the movement speed. I take the evasion here. I go over here and I come down and I grab this evasion node. I could also come down here and get this one if I wanted to. I go up here and I grab the skill effect duration and poison duration, and I grab the +1 poison. These are magnitudes, which is really nice. And the +1 poison, you'll see we get a reduced magnitude, but we get 2 poisons out of this because of our ascendancy, and that makes it more than worth it. We go up here, we go down, and we grab increased magnitude of poison you inflict. It's just magnitude increases. I go up, I come around. This is something I'm taking right now. Probably not optimal. It's what I'm taking. It's just some evasion and energy shield. It goes down. And then we have 50% increased energy shield rating if energy shield recharge is started. That's not really going to happen. It's because we're going to be overleeching. So it's basically just 30% increased evasion while you have energy shield. There's probably better options. This is not an optimized build. This is just showing what I'm playing. I go over to here and I come down. I'll do all the jewels at once. I have poison duration, which doesn't do much, but there's a magnitude, there's a duration, and then I get magnitude of poisons you inflict, along with 2% of life on killing a poisoned enemy. I could probably do away with all of this and put these points somewhere else. I go up here. Again, we'll go to the jewels later. I go over here. Magnitude, magnitude, magnitude. Duration for poison. I might as well grab it. And duration, duration, poison on hit. And then I have reduced poison duration, but +1 poison, which again is our +2. I go up here. I'm grabbing some energy shield nodes right here. This is kind of important. You go up here and you want to grab life, 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 but you also want to make sure this is a wasted node, but you want to grab this movement speed. You get cast speed as well, but movement speed is actually really crazy with this build. If you do not have this, you're going to very quickly notice that you'll have issues in certain maps where your clerics will fall behind if they get body blocked. This eases a lot of that. Again, if they make it so that our minions like follow us more closely or are faster or whatever they do, if they have any updates for that, maybe this isn't needed. But I can't pass up, life. And then, of course, there's a 40% maximum life. We don't care about the minion recovery rate. We go up this way, and we turn off here. This is as far as I am aware, this is a wasted node. This actually will not affect our damage. And we go up here for 5% chance to not destroy corpses. 5%, and we get an additional 15. Now, that is an addition to what we already have on our boots, which just raises the chance really high. We go up here, we go over, we go over. Well, again, we'll deal with the jewels in a bit. You don't have to have this jewel, by the way. This is something I literally just added. The boss I've beaten multiple times without the jewel. This is just something I'm testing. I think it's probably worth it. We go over here. I go down for life, and here we have increased life with more regen. I'm going to be honest. I think I can spec out of these without really hurting the DPS and throw it more into chaos damage. I think that ends up actually being a bigger DPS increase. I'll have to do some math, maybe figure that out. We'll deal with the jewel in a bit. And here we just have energy shield from helmet. It's probably not the best, especially with the helmet I have. And it's just I take this whole wheel for energy shield increases. We go up this way. The jewel, I go down and I take chaos inoculation. I was wrong. I did some testing and I thought that chaos damage didn't actually I thought chaos damage didn't actually impact the build. I think it did damage. I tested wrong. I mentioned that in a previous update video. So I do take this. It's a little bit of chaos damage, but the fact that I get all the way here, this is just an extra boost because it's extra chaos damage. This also means that not only is this extra damage for our poison, but it also means that it activates the Eye of Winter Wither, and this is just me going towards Wither effect. I don't know if it's worth it, but I'm pathing there for now. And of course, you're going ES, you have to basically do this. You go up here and you take this massive 60%. I guess theoretically I could anoint this, which I think is actually, yeah, it's absolutely crazy priced, but theoretically I could anoint this. But if you're anointing this, you're not anointing, and I didn't really need to anoint it, it's so close. You're not anointing Flashy Deflection, which is just extra defenses from my shield, which is a little extra energy shield, things like that. But it also gives me block chance. But over here, there's a magnitude. I'm not seeing it, but they're here. Magnitude of ailments you afflict, increased duration of damaging ailments on enemies. This is probably what you really want if you're spending money on an anoint, like higher money. It's a magnitude you can't normally reach. It has duration. Doesn't say it doesn't work on poison. So, with that being said, let's talk about the jewels. Now, most of the jewels are going to be like this. They're going to be basically magnitude of ailments you inflict and magnitude of poison you inflict of various degrees and varying costs, but those are the two. You can get 15 on each, so technically you can get 30% magnitude on each jewel socket. So basically, this here, this high amount of magnitude, you can get on each jewel socket. So if I could technically save, save 4 nodes, add another jewel, this is, as I said, probably not really worth. I could probably repath this whole thing, hit more extra jewel nodes, and be really happy. Maybe even go over here. You don't want any plus chaos skills because the actual decompose only goes up 0.5 per level, and that's not really good. I don't think it's enough to justify any plus chaos skills. But the big difference, as you'll see here, is just another one I made. I volled all these myself, so this cannot be blinded. This one over here cannot be hindered. The hindered is nice. Blinded doesn't do anything. The jewel that's different is going to be this jewel here. This is Prism of Belief. I paid too much for this jewel because there's not many that are out there. There is a way to search for these jewels. I might do a video on how to do that, but it's out there. And I set up a search for a couple days. People were trying to sell them for 15 divines, which is absolutely insane. I decided, honestly, probably shouldn't have done it. I did it when it hit 7 divines, which is way too much for this. Because the only people that want to plus their clerics are me. And basically the whole game, I think. But if I go to here, my clerics, you'll see I have 24,000. You'll notice I don't have much maximum minion life. I only have 146 increased maximum minion life. And if I take this off, and you'll see it's the same. That's a bug. That's a visual bug. If I take this off, there it is. So we go from 18.8 thousand to and again, it's a visual bug. 24,378. Hopefully it's a visual bug. If not, you could like snapshot it, I guess. But anyway, so all this jewel is doing is this is extra damage if you're doing like bossing of some sort, because what we're doing is we're taking this damage, and that damage is that life is thrown into this percentage of life, and then it takes as though you're dealing that chaos damage, so you're not dealing that much damage. It takes that, and then it runs all the poison numbers, and that ends up being your final damage times 10 on bosses that don't have mobs. If it has mobs, then the mobs explode and their life matters. Maybe this matters less, but and again, this is I've mentioned this in previous videos. This is without rarity gear. If I'm mapping, I actually don't even run this amulet. I run a different one. I run rarity rings and I run rarity gloves. So this build can completely clear tier 16 rare maps, breaches, all that, no problem. It does not need this. This is a final thing I was updating, and kind of why I was holding back on doing another update videos. I'm like, I don't want anyone else fighting me for this. I just want to get this, have the item, and then see how it feels. And it feels good. It feels really good. I could definitely push to higher tier bosses. I just don't have the currency because I bought this diamond. But yeah, so it's not really, I wouldn't really say it's too good of a oh yeah, I also would think maybe I go here, take this, maybe, instead of this. This isn't a, like, I'm not like a guide creator. This is just some build that I made because I got tired of playing my gemling minions. I got burned out. And I got annoyed because I did an ultimatum on my gemling minions and it crashed. And I got mad, and then I came to play this, and I went to go do my 4th trial with my 4th ascendancy with ultimatum. I decided to do it on that because I don't have blink on this build, and I have low movement speed, so it's only 10 movement speed. And I went to the ultimatum, and I crashed. So I might take another break, might do another build. It just kind of makes me mad when that happens, because I don't know what's causing it. Yeah, just. That's the I think I hit everything. Definitely not optimized. It definitely can be improved. And if you play this playstyle, and let's say you do this, you do a Pathfinder and you hate it, you can go into Poisonous Concoction right now, which is like broken good. Like this is not the best poison build for Pathfinder at all. Poisonous Concoction is really good. But let's say GGG comes back from break and they completely kill Poisonous Concoction, and you want something different. Maybe you want more of a chill mapper, or you can just, like, kind of zone out like you used to do in PoE 1. I don't think this is too bad. I don't think this is too bad at all. I enjoy it. I like how I can turn my brain off and walk around. The defensive layers actually work out really well. The evasion's nice. The block is nice. The amount of energy shield is nice because as your poison cloud is going, let's say I'm in a scenario where the enemies are piling in on me. As long as I have poison clouds, 50% of when they die, they're dropping Grim Feast. So even if my energy shield is dropping, it's constantly getting refilled. There are so many scenarios with this build where I sit there and go, I think I'm going to die, and somehow Grim Feast gets me through. Now, of course, people think Grim Feast is going to be nerfed. So if Grim Feast gets nerfed, obviously this gets a lot worse. The best theoretical nerf would be something that's smaller. if this gets nerfed entirely, like completely ruined, and they mess with like ES scaling, maybe you redo this whole build and you go energy shield. And energy shield, evasion. Go full evasion. And if you go full evasion, maybe that's a scenario where you can take that Queen of the Forest body armor and it fixes your movement speed. And there's places it could go. I'm honestly not wanting to invest super amounts of time and thought into something that's going to be possibly completely changed within a week or so. That's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, like I would never take. I don't think this node's ever good because we're stacking 10 poisons. So just give you an idea. There's definitely wasted nodes here. It could be better. I could do other things. Scenario where maybe instead of the helmet I have, I go ES helmet, get rid of this, go ES helmet, jump up here, grab this, and maybe that ends up just being better for both. I have to do a lot of possible gear upgrades and stuff and think about it. But there you go. It's a lot. If I had more points, I could spec into other stuff. I can increase the wither. Give you like another zoom out view here. Give you an idea of what I'm doing. And as I said, all of these green jewels are just the same. Now, what have I done with this build? I've done the breach boss because basically everything else is just too expensive, and I dropped some other fragments and I just sold them because they're so much. But I run tier 16, 3 distilled emotions from Delirium on it with multiple breaches and rare, and I'll do it in irradiated, corrupted with a map boss, and I don't have issues. The only, literally the biggest challenge with this whole build is anything that ignites your poison clouds. So like Burning Ground sucks. I skipped those maps. The Breach boss, third version of it, he can leave Burning Ground. That sucks. That's I need to just do that one because the Burning Ground sucks. But if they make it so that enemy Burning Ground doesn't set off our poisons, this build would feel so much better. So that's the kind of thing I hope they change. Because they talked about wanting the damage from the explosions to scale with the fire that blew it up. So if they make it either so it does the crazy boss damage and it scales off that could be good. Or if they make it so it doesn't affect our poisons, we have to set it off ourselves, that also would feel pretty good. But till next time, this is just my update. I don't know if I'll do more updates on this build. I just know people have asked, why isn't the full tree shown? Why isn't this shown? Why isn't that shown? It should all be in this video. Basically, everything you asked for was split up in other updates videos because they weren't build guides. They were just an update. So, just ideas, people. Ideas if you want to try to build something yourself. It's early access. We don't have POB. The most important thing is have fun. And I enjoy it. I like this build. I like the playstyle. And I hope it gets better.